Are you thinking about selling your home in Oregon without a real estate agent? You're going to want to listen to this video until the very end because we're just going to share some insight and information that you're going to want to know beforehand. And before we get into it, if you're new here, welcome. My name's Mariah.
And I'm Spencer.
And we are a husband and wife real estate team here in Oregon. And we work with a lot of relocation clients, people moving here from all over. And Spencer, especially in particular these days, works with a lot of for sale by owners. So he helps a lot of people who, home sellers and people who were trying to sell their home on their own and it didn't work out. So now he's able to help them. So we're just going to speak from that experience. But today's video isn't, I know you as for sale by owners get a lot of calls from realtors. Today's video isn't to try to convince you to work with a realtor or tell you why you can't sell it on your own. That's not what we're here to do today. We're just here to give you some tips and advice that you might want to know going into the process. That's all.
And you know, throughout this whole thing, while calling for sale by owners, I always say on our first initial contact, so you guys out there listening to this video, if I'm calling you, I usually say, or I send you a video stating this statement. Hey guys, my name's Spencer. I don't deny why you're selling your home for sale by owner. If I was in your shoes, I would too, because that's the truth. I mean, why wouldn't you want to save a commission, whether it's 4%, 5%, 6%, a flat fee? Why wouldn't you want to why wouldn't you want to save thousands of dollars on any real estate transaction? I don't blame you.
Yeah. All right. So we're just going to walk through the steps and then maybe we'll elaborate a little bit more on, what else you might need to know off of this or what we see from our own personal experiences. So the first thing that you're going to want to do when you decide to sell your house on your own is determine how much your home is actually worth. And you're not going to want to, you probably know this, but you don't want to just go off this Zestimate. Those are often really off and incorrect. Just like the Zillow mortgage calculators or whatever are really off.
That's all I ever see.
Yes.
I mean, seriously, talking to so many people, they're like,
Yes.
I'm like, how do you find that home
Yes.
home price? Well, Zillow gave me that.
And another thing is it's hard when you're low on inventory, but you really, when you find that right, accurate price for your home, you really want to try to not compare it to a home that's, I don't know, say on the other side of town or even on the same side of town, but different, not in the same neighborhood. You really want like as close to your home as possible. Location is so important in your specific neighborhood. If possible, that would be best. And then also the last thing I'll say about this is to make sure that you're aware, because something I see a lot is sellers will compare their home to another home that's on the market or has recently sold, but they didn't really take into account that this other home has had, although the criteria is very similar, bedroom, bathroom, square footage, year built, this other home has had a lot of updates and remodeling done to it that this one hasn't. So you got to make sure you're comparing as closely as you can.
A little pro tip, if you're looking for sale by owner, sell your home for sale by owner, is go do some tours.
Yeah.
Go do some open houses. Go be a house hunter for a change. Put yourself in the shoes of the buyer.
Open houses are a great idea.
Wanting to buy the home. Because if you're not understanding their psychology or what they're thinking or even the market surrounding you, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. Yeah. And put yourself in the buyer's shoes.
That's really good. And trying to look at the home as objectively as possible, as trying to take yourself out of the situation and look at it as someone who might be walking in there for the first time.
Yes.
Because when we've all been, when you live in your home, it's easy to overlook things that chipping paint here, doorknob here, whatever little things that you've lived with it for maybe 10 years and you're used to it. You fix it, or the smells. So just try to really look at it from a buyer's perspective. Number 2, prep your home for sale. Do any repairs that are needing to be done to the home if possible. Focus on curb appeal and buyer's first impressions. Really try to look at your home, like we just said, from a different perspective as someone who had never been into your home before and isn't used to seeing it the way that it is. Tackle any odors, of course. Something that I've seen as a realtor working with buyers, I'm always surprised how many homes I've actually been into with I've been in with many different situations. Like I can just think of one that was a dog smell. I can think of one that was a cat smell, and I can think of one that was a smoke smell. All of them, the sellers didn't think these smells were a big deal because they themselves were so used to it. But those were the the home was the home for the buyer. They wanted to buy it. It was the perfect home. And the smell literally was the only thing. And even me as a realtor, I have a hard time understanding why a buyer would make that decision when you love the home, you love everything about it, but it's just the smell.
Yeah.
But it's just that fear in the back of their mind of what if we can't get it all the way out?
Odor is tricky.
Because I know there's things you can do to get the smell out, but it does turn off buyers and could help stop your home from smelling.
It's a scary thing though. Like when I walk into a home and there's the musty smell or the pee, the cat pee.
Yeah.
Or just garbage. It's off-putting.
Yeah.
It's really off-putting. And as a buyer, you said it exactly how I would say it is be good on the first impressions. Mm-hmm. The first impressions is what ultimately is going to reinforce a buyer to want to make an offer. Yeah. Because they're feeling confident. Mm-hmm. The confidence factor in submitting you some paper saying, I really want this home.
And I know if I'm walking through a home and I just notice it just seems like it's in great condition, well cared for, I know I would feel a lot more confident putting in a great offer, just thinking, wow, this is a solid home. Someone really took care of this place, versus if there were little things that you might think as a seller, like it's really not a big deal. But if I know like those things are taken care of, I have a lot less fears going into it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, don't over update. You don't, want to put in more than
know your area.
You're going to get out. Yes. Okay. So I guess, sorry to just keep going back on this, but I just want to clarify, updates aren't necessarily, there is a time and place for that, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend going out and updating your house before you put it on the market. I would say repairs, like things that,
know what's cool?
What?
In regards to people wanting to sell their home for sale by owner, is you can actually play a realtor and play the game. So when a fellow realtor calls you like myself, get a CMA sent to you. Say, hey, you know what? Could you send me something in the mail?
They'll be happy to do it.
What do you think my home will sell for? Can you send? Here's my mailing address. Okay, then you receive the CMA and you kind of like where it's going. You like the number you see. Now you're kind of getting more to the step of putting your home on the market for sale by owner. Invite that realtor in your home. Invite them in, because ultimately I'm going to give you my business card when I come into your home. I'm going to now put a face to the conversation that we had over the phone. So I add you to my contact book. You add me to your contact book. It's a win-win for everybody. Yeah. And then I give you professional advice for free. Who doesn't love the word free? I do. So
it can't hurt.
And I get asked that question often, though. In a lot of my listing appointments, I'm going in for the listing. Sometimes I win them. Sometimes it's for sale by owners doing that same trick I'm telling you guys to do. Use a local realtor for free. Telling you professional advice. Hey, remove this from your wall. Maybe make that correction to your home. Paint, touch up. Get that real expert opinion, because it's all about that first impression ultimately. And if you're able to take away the eyesight, the eye views, people can now focus on your home and the value that you're trying to sell it for.
Yeah, that's good.
Use a local resource. It's free. Okay,
the next tip is, or thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to think about staging. Do you want to stage it or not? Are you living in the home? And, if you're already living there and you don't want to stage it, one thing I will say is, might sound like a small thing, but it really makes a huge difference, and that is declutter as much as you can. I always tell home sellers, take a room in the house or the garage, whatever you prefer, and we won't get listing photos of that one room, and start putting your things in boxes and put it all in that room. And then a question I get a lot from sellers is, I'm worried my garage will look bad if it's just filled with boxes. But let me tell you,
it's always the garage.
It's always the case. Usually if the home looks good, you open the door to the garage, and that's why. Because it's stuff like I'm not exaggerating when I say like floor to ceiling boxes I have seen. You can't even walk in the garage, just filled with moving boxes. And that's okay. That's normal. I actually would encourage that, because I think it can make your home look a lot better. If you've got a lot of stuff or a lot of clutter, you're going to move it anyway. You're planning on moving, so you might as well start packing.
That's a great idea.
Yes. Oh, did you see that lightning?
Yeah, we just had some lightning outside.
Wow.
That's nice.
It's a storm. Okay.
Do you guys hear that?
Wow, that was really loud. Dude. I doubt they could hear it. That was really loud thunder.
Wow, our house literally just shaked.
Wow.
Shaked?
I haven't heard thunder. It shook.
It shook.
I haven't heard thunder in a long time. Okay.
Unedited show, guys. So we have fun with this.
Yeah, we don't
Stay with us.
We don't edit things. Okay, moving on. Okay, so the next thing you're going to want to do, professional listing photos make a
Yes.
huge difference.
Make that investment.
Yes.
If there's one thing you do right,
Yes.
make that investment.
You need a professional photographer doing this. Buyers will not want to set up a showing if they don't like the photos. 87% of buyers who used the internet to find their home found photos very useful. I know for us before, we've had multiple times when we were house hunting for ourselves, and this happened twice for us, I think. We almost didn't go inside to look at the home because we hated the listing photos. So we just thought they weren't professional, and they just really made the homes look not the accurate representation. They were not professional photos, and we didn't even almost go see them. And then we thankfully did for some reason and ended up buying the home. But that's the case with a lot of buyers. A lot of homes I see get overlooked simply because there's not professional photos. So that is very, very important.
And are we going to touch on maybe where to place these professional photos on today's show?
Where to place them?
Mm-hmm.
You can go ahead and tell us.
Okay. So you take your professional photos.
Yeah.
The majority of your priorities as a seller is how do you get viewership? How do you promote your home to a buyer to get it to sell? So that visual appearance is so important. And that's why, like, if there's one thing you do right when trying to sell your home for sale by owner, bring in a professional photographer, take room by room, backyard, front yard, whatever accessories you have with the home, and highlight them. Places to put your home when you're for sale by owner. Obviously, you have Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com. Utilize any free website you have access to on Google, okay? And that's a really big one. Usually, there's a category for sale by owners. Put it in that category. Don't select the realtor category. It doesn't do you any good. For sale by owners. And here's why. Sometimes independent parties, buyers, only look at for sale by owners because they don't want to get a realtor involved sometimes. They only look for sale by owners, and they think that they're getting a deal because it's you versus them, independent contract, maybe written up by a lawyer, who knows. So they think there's a deal involved. So that is another reason why to only post it in the for sale by owner category. If you're not utilizing Facebook, you're missing out. Put your home on Facebook and do a market ad because
for your local area.
Your local area, because here's why. Your sphere of influence, the people around you, your friends, they can be sharing it, they can comment on it, they can share it with somebody they might know. There's a whole world of opportunity if you're using Facebook to market your home. And then obviously post on Instagram. Make an Instagram post. And then lastly, and I think this is often forgot about, even by us brokers, is Craigslist.
Oh, of course, Craigslist. I was going to say a video tour as well.
I think that's
which
great.
You don't need a professional camera. If you just have a iPhone, for example, do a video tour of your home. It really helps give buyers a better idea of the layout. And then you can post that on YouTube, Facebook,
everywhere.
like all of the
every platform,
everywhere post the video. So I'm pretty sure for sale by owners, they can post a video on Zillow now, even like a video walkthrough. I'm not totally sure.
No, there's probably a 3D virtual tour.
Yeah. So take advantage. You don't have to, the video doesn't have to be professional. It helps give a better, idea. We always do professional videos for our clients, but I would say a video is better than no video, even if it's not professional. Photos, got to be professional.
Yeah.
Or you're hurting your sale. Okay, next, negotiate offers well. Negotiations can be difficult for sale by owner because you're dealing usually with a buyer's agent, who's a seasoned pro, because most of the time, like Spencer said, there are times when the buyers who come to your home are people who are unrepresented, but I would say 99.9% of the time, based off of what we see, the buyers will have an agent representing them. So expect that. And then also price negotiations. It can be difficult when you have, that emotional involvement in the home, and things can just get a little tricky and messy. So just be aware of that, of course, going into things. You don't want to tell them too much. I don't know.
Yeah,
give it way too much information.
There's no need to explain yourself.
Yeah. Stay professional.
and here's one thing in negotiations when an offer is presented by a buyer's agent. Oftentimes, if a buyer's agent sends you an offer and you're for sale by owner, there's going to be a clause in the section, the additions section of an offer, to where they require you as a seller to pay a 2.5% to 3% buyer's agent commission, because realtors can't work for free. They got to support. They got to have a family. They have their car expenses. They have their real estate license expenses. They have taxes to pay for. And that is common in every offer a broker submits. In any listing that I'm selling, I'm giving away at least 2.5% to another buyer's agent. So if you're for sale by owner and you see that in a clause or section, don't get greedy, because ultimately you're here to save a commission, right? So that's one of the catches, the coins of for sale by owner. They sometimes just say, I'm not paying any commission to a broker involved. Guess what that broker's going to do? They're going to pull out, not let their buyer see your home usually, or their buyer simply isn't going to want to buy your home because they're loyal to the buyer's agent. They're like,
and they're intimidated at doing it themselves.
Exactly.
The process.
They want representation.
They don't want to go down that road.
So my advice to you, if you're a seller, don't mention that in the listing description. Don't say will not pay buyer's agent commission. Let an offer come in, and if you really feel the need to negotiate more and further based off the offer you receive, do so then.
That's good advice. The next thing is, don't forget about property disclosures. So here in our state of Oregon, this is something to know. You have to fill out something called property disclosures. They're a long list of just everything, history of the home, everything you know about it, all this information. And this you have to send over to the buyer's agent, or I guess to the buyer if you're not working with an agent. And when you do send it to them, you can send it to them at any point that you want. But when you send it to them, they have 3 business days after it's sent, after they receive it from you, to back out and keep their earnest money for any reason. So you could get through the inspections, everything's good, you think they're locked in because your inspection period's over. I hope you put that in your contract, and all of that. But after inspection's over, like, you think they're locked in, everything's good. Right before closing, you have 3 days till closing, and then you just then send them that property disclosures. If you wait to send it to them, they could back out and keep their earnest money, and that would be the right, like, the legal thing in the contract. So just be aware, get them the property disclosures ASAP. Don't delay.
Not for submitted, you accept it.
Yeah.
Put in the seller's property disclosure.
Yeah.
And better yet, attach it if you have an additional form section. Attach it to your platform wherever you're advertising your listing at.
Yes. Okay. And then the last thing is gather the closing paperwork and sell your home. I think it's very, 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 very important. If you're going to sell your home on your own, to know your local and state regulations and requirements as far as paperwork goes. Yeah. So that's all that I had.
That's big. Have a plan in place from the very beginning of the transaction, from photographer all the way to the closing table. Yes. And try and do that before you even have your home listed, because it's only going to benefit you. There's a reason why brokers like us have our teams in place from beginning to end, and it's for smooth, well transactions that put money in all of our sellers' pockets.
Yes. Okay, well, if you've listened to this video all the way through, and you are thinking about buying or selling real estate, maybe you're thinking about selling in Oregon, and you just want a market analysis. You just want to know what your home's worth. Feel free to reach out. We'd love to get that to you. No strings attached. No, pushy realtor. I know sellers, for sale by owners, get bombarded with that, and we don't want to ever be like that. But if you do want a market analysis, we are more than happy to give that to you. Our website is vettruscrawfordrealty.com. You can shoot us an email through there, or I'll put our email on our website in the description below.
And in the meantime, sell. Get her done, guys.